Hey guys, Majin Obama here, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about an announcement that happened today on Twitter. It came out of JP Twitter as somebody went to the legendary, one of the most famous arcades in the world, and one of the last few remaining ones of its quality, A-Cho, game amusement space A-Cho in Kyoto, Japan. Unfortunately, will be closing its doors for good January 31st, 2025. So you guys got a little bit over a month to go there and check it out. And, I had a few people kind of chime in. They were like, can you guys talk about like the current state of arcade culture and all this other stuff? And I'm just saying, man, we've been telling y'all for years. Y'all just ain't listen. Just a quick summary. I came to Japan in spring 2012, and even at that time, I came towards the end of the arcade boat, essentially. Even I was really late. And, even though I got to experience the tail end of that environment through the 2010s, and it was awesome. It was great. It's one of those things where it's like, rather than be sad about it being gone in that way, I'm just happy I got to experience it that way. It's something that I can't explain to you or like to Zoomers in the way that they would understand. It's a very just beyond community, beyond games kind of thing. But what you have to understand is arcades in Japan, especially, they've been in free fall for well over a decade. 20 going on 30 years. They were talking about this in the early 2000s, late 90s even. But Game A-Cho is just the latest casualty. And so a lot of these places did not survive the pandemic. Ones that had the reputation or were attached to successful businesses like A-Cho. It's attached to a pachinko parlor. They had the benefit of being able to have a lifeline like that to be able to survive not only just the economic decline and the game culture shift of the 2010s, where, again, now you got to think kids aren't leaving school or leaving, their clubs or something like that after school and going to an arcade to play. They're going home and playing Valorant. They're going home and playing whatever, It's just a shift in gaming culture. They're going to the convenience store, getting cards to roll gacha on their phone. It's a shift in the culture and the dynamic here, in addition to a number of other factors that have led to the decline of these arcade centers, right? And so you kind of had a big red flag, especially a couple years ago, when Sega, with a name like Sega, their name in arcades is like, they made the machines that you play on, basically. When they got out of the arcade business and sold the rights to their arcades in Japan to Gigo, I think that was a huge, that should have told you something. Even like in Akihabara, the famous pictures of the Club Sega, right outside the station. Now it's a completely different logo. It's not, not quite the same. But A-Cho for sure was a pillar, especially if you played fighting games. This was one of the arcades that early on was really uploading a variety of content, and over the years this is an important hub for a number of communities. Guilty Gear, BlazBlue, various Street Fighters, Virtua Fighter, every fighting game under the sun, basically. But in its later years, and I thought this even in 2012 when I went for the first time, people weren't going there every day like that. For the most part, A-Cho kind of turned into an event space where people would plan an event and communities would rally around that event. But you're talking about like one day a week or one day every 2 weeks. And it's just like long term, you knew that was on borrowed time. There's no way that could have lasted forever, But it also gives me a flashback of 2012 when, just casually, and you guys have experienced this too, you play Persona 5, there's a game center that's in Shibuya in that game, and it's based on what was a real life arcade, Shibuya Kaikon. I've talked about this in another video. 2012, I just stumbled in there and it was like a wonderland, man. Five floors of just like 50 yen, playing whatever I wanted to play. And then the next time I tried to go there, like a couple weeks later, it was closed. It was gone, just like that. And yeah, for me, these arcades and game centers, there's only a few that are still left that I think are like, really have really solid reputations and are worth going out of your way for. But for me, I mostly consider that already gone. The way the culture has shifted is just, and the way the businesses are just keep falling. I think it's been over for me, and that's sad. But it's also a good point, because it's like I take that experience, that environment, and it's something that I always strive to bring to whatever I do, whatever game, whatever event, etc. I bring it with my work, right? So that brings the question of, when you come here and let's say you want to go to an arcade, right? Where do you go? What do you play? Again, we've been saying this for years now. Between me, footage on Anime Illuminati YouTube channel, we've been talking about this for literally years. Y'all only listen when something bad happens. But it depends on what you want to play. The way these arcades work, it's no longer like the 2000s and the 90s. You have to go at specific days and specific times to play specific games in specific arcades. So the way I would suggest this is, if you come out here for whatever, on a vacation, a holiday, or for an EVO Japan, or for a major event or something like that, what you should do is look up the website for the respective arcade that you were thinking about going to. And just to throw some names out there of ones that I recommend, you know, A-Cho was based in Kyoto, which is in Kansai, and in Osaka there are quite a few. But if you're coming to Tokyo, look up Game vs. Nishinipori, look up Game Newton, look up Place by Big 1 Second is a big one. It's a little bit of a trek. You gotta go outside the city a little bit, but it's worth it. There are a lot of scenes that gather there. Shinjuku Sportsland, it's right by Shinjuku Station. You gotta check that out. The Mikado is both in Takanababa and in Ikebukuro. The Ikebukuro has a little bit more community activity. Koenji Cube, that's another one right in the Shinjuku area that you can hit up just for Third Strike, Vampire. It depends on what you want to play. That's how you decide where to. Hey Arcade in Akihabara. How could I forget? Hey is obviously like a beacon almost, and you can still go there and play Street Fighter 4, various other games. They got floors of stuff, right? But look up those arcades. See what days they have gatherings for what games, and then that's the best way to try to make your play in terms of what to play. Or even ask the question, if you know some players that play at some of these places, just at them on Twitter, and you don't have to use Google Translate. Just ask in simple English, hey, what day would be best to come to play this game? And a lot of them will be accommodating. They'll tell you. Sometimes on some occasions they'll get people to come just to play you. It happens. You know, there's been a lot of discussion recently about Street Fighter 6 and how that as an arcade title has merit, right? I think that there are some arcades you can go to play it and have a good time, but overall there's way more offline venues to where the community is rallied around PC and console play, to where I don't know if Street Fighter 6 is really going to hit like that in that same way. You can still do it in some arcades, but yeah, you're not going to just be able to just walk around and just go to random arcades and it's going to hit the same way. It's just not how it is anymore, especially after the pandemic. Pandemic for a lot of these businesses was just like a pillow over the face for a lot of them, and some of them were already dwindling before the pandemic. You got to imagine when not only the economics are at play, the game culture has shifted. The publishers and developers for a lot of these titles don't make games for that platform anymore. You know, there's dozens of reasons for why this doesn't work anymore. But all in all, it's sad to see another. This is a pillar, man. That's one that you're not going to get back. I encourage you guys to check out the video I made a few years ago, kind of just walking around, just showing you what it was like in there. I'll put that in the description below. But yeah, this one hurts, but for me, I felt like even 10 years ago it was already on borrowed time. And while it's sad, it also makes me really happy that not just myself, but anybody that came here and was able to drop a coin in that place. I had some really good memories in there, man. Really great times. Guilty Gear team tournaments. I remember years back, especially during Xrd era, that place was rolling with the BBCF as Blaze Blue, Guilty, Melty, man. That place, that place was something special, but it's not even the only place like that, man. Not even the only place like that that's bit the dust in the past 4 to 5 years. And it hurts, but it's also, this is just how it goes. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. I know there's still lots of arcades left here, but if you guys have any questions about where you want to go and what you want to play when you come here or something like that, feel free to hit me up or ask anybody on, add me on Twitter or something like that. Let me know in the comments below how you feel about this, man. This is arcades in Japan. It's rough, but this is the state of thing. Anyway, I'll catch you guys next time. Be easy.